do you call that folk music?
I think it was Studs Terkel who asked Big Bill Brunzi, did he consider his blues music to be folk music? And Big Bill says, well, never heard no horses.
Don't hesitate. It could be your ticket to a new tomorrow.
Well, meet me in the bottom. Bring my boots and shoes, Lord and Mama, great God Almighty. Meet me in the bottom. Bring my boots and shoes. Well, I've got to go now. I ain't got no time to lose. Well, I've got to leave here and I won't be back no more, Lord and Mama, great God Almighty. I've got to go now and I won't be back no more. You know, I really don't mind leaving, but I got so far to go. Well, the woman I love is rock solid with the ground, Lord and Mama, great God Almighty. Well, the woman I love is rock solid with the ground. And every time she kisses, she makes my love come down. She wears number 4 shoes and she's 25 in her waist, Lord and Mama, great God Almighty. Number 4 shoes and she's 25 in the waist. Well, I swear to God I love her, ain't nobody's gonna take my baby's place. Well, meet me in the bottom. Bring my boots and shoes, Lord and Mama, great God Almighty. Meet me in the bottom. Bring my boots and shoes. Well, I've got to go now. I ain't got no time to lose. Well, I've got to go now. I ain't got no time to lose.
Whoa, yeah.
All right.
The show is Horses Sing None of It. My name is Ralph Litwin. Our guest tonight is Frank Fotusky.
Ralph,
Welcome
thanks
to
for
Horses
having
Sing
me.
None of It.
Thanks for having
Our
me.
pleasure. Nice picking and singing.
Well, thank you.
So tell us, what attracted you to this music? How did you get into it?
Well, I grew up watching Hee Haw, and I had a big Roy Clark was a big influence of mine at first, but I first started playing banjo, and there was a guy on Hee Haw that was also in Roy Clark's band, this guy Buck Trent, and those two guys were my first initial influences. And then I shared a room with my older brother growing up, and he had brought home a bunch of the music at the time, and I was really interested in that. And then reading the liner notes, I saw that you know, these guys were playing Reverend Gary Davis type stuff, and Big Bill Brunzi and, you know, that whole lot. And then I started digging deeper, and I just then fell in love with the guitar and took it from there. And then my grandmother, who was in, she was in vaudeville, and she was actually, she toured with, she was in Helen Hayes' touring group. But then she met my grandfather and got out of that, but stayed in playing the piano. And her house is very much a piano-centric house, you know. So and the hub of everyone coming to meet, growing up, all the relatives. She lived in North Arlington, right over there, not too far from here, really. But so when we'd go there, we'd gather around the piano and do, you know, do songs anywhere from the Tin Pan Alley stuff to blues. She played everything and all in between.
No kidding.
And then we'd rewrite lyrics and stuff and just do lewd and lascivious things to tunes. But it was a whole lot of fun. But I never took to the piano. My sister did, but I gravitated towards the guitar.
Well, you've got a pianistic style on the guitar.
Yeah, well, that's what I tried to emulate, because I love the piano, but I just never, you know, I wasn't able to do it.
Your hands were adapted to the guitar.
Yeah,
Why don't you give us another one?
I will. This is a tune called Mumble Peg, and this was, when I write a song, I'm not a wordsmith, right? So as I'm trying to write a song, they end up coming out instrumentals, and it's all the noodling that happens in between trying to write a song. And this just happened to be a whole bunch of licks and type of different styles from East Coast to Texas to Delta style playing, and they all just fell together, much like the game. They all stood up straight, the Mumble Peg game.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I called it that. So here's Mumble Peg.
All right.
All right.
Your playing is so clean, man.
Well, thanks.
You practice a lot.
Yeah, I play as much as I can. I play as much as I can. The trick
Cool.
is starting out and getting a lot of practice in and not having a girlfriend in high school. So you get a lot of good practice time in then.
You mentioned that we first met when John Jackson was in our studio.
Right, John was playing, I think that was 2000, right? I think that's when it was.
There's a program on the wall
Yep.
from the New Jersey Folk Festival.
Oh, 99 it was. And John was playing the folk festival, and I was with him that day. I was kind of chauffeuring him around with he and his manager, Trish Byerly. And they were doing, also then the next day they were doing a show down in my neck of the woods down there in South Jersey. And so I made sure they got up to your show. They weren't too familiar with the area.
Well, I certainly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because it was a historic occasion to get him.
Oh, sure. John is the biggest influence on my playing, as far as guitar playing goes. Not only that, but his just his whole persona really affected me.
He's a very gentle man.
Sure. And I learned a lot from him. Just, I mean, if it wasn't anything to do with guitar playing, I learned a whole lot just how to be a human being from him. He had that much of an effect on me.
That's saying something.
Yeah. And then all the people that were around him. Paul Jeremiah is a big influence and a good friend of mine. Roy Bookbinder. They all had a big effect on my playing.
Roy has been on the show.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get Paul Jeremiah worked out for a date, but he had to cancel out at the last minute.
Yeah.
But we'll get him on one of these days.
Yeah. That would be that'd be a great show.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you give us some more music?
I will. Do another instrumental. And this one happens to be, again, I was noodling around, but then it was just a couple of these chords I struck that reminded me of the time growing up at going to my grandmother's house and playing around that. So just like certain, smells remind you of certain times and certain places, fresh cut grass or something like that will take you back to, maybe you were at a swimming hole or something like that. It just brings back memories. Well, that's what these couple of these chords did, so I wrote a song around it. And it's called 39 9th Street, and that was her address in North Arlington.
first section of that reminded me of playing of Mississippi John Hurt.
Well, it was, you know what? That influenced that song a lot too. John Hurt's playing.
Yeah, you could really hear the gentle touch there.
Yep. All those guys were. You know what? If you hear that in her playing, if you hear that in my playing, I really take that as a compliment.
Well, good then. I consider it a compliment. We should tell folks how to get in touch with you if they want to find out where you're playing or where they can find out more information about your recording, Teasing the Frets.
Yep, that's my CD right now. I'm working on a new one right now, and I was approached to do a DVD, a performance DVD.
Cool.
So that's all in the works.
So folks can email you at fotusky@aol.com, where they can go to www.fotusky.com
Right.
for more information. What else would you like to play for us?
Well, you want to join me on a tune here?
Sure.
We could do a Robert Johnson tune.
Okay, what key are you going
we'll
into?
We'll play it in A. Early this morning, when you came knocking upon my door, early this morning, when you came knocking upon my door, I said, hello, Satan, I believe it's time to go. Me and the devil, babe, were walking side by side. Me and the devil, babe, were walking side by side. I'm gonna mistreat my good gal till I get satisfied. She said she don't see why, said she don't see why I dog around. She said she don't see why, said she don't see why I dog around. You know it must be that old evil spirit way down deep in the ground. Can bury my body down by the old highway side. Well, you can bury my body down by the old highway side. So my old evil spirit can catch a Greyhound bus and ride.
Was a tortured soul. Great song.
Yeah, it's a pretty funny song. Just the fact that he's meets the devil at his door and walking with him. There's some humor in that.
Yep. Well, let's see. We have about 7 minutes to go. No, 6.5 minutes to go.
All right.
6 minutes to go. So you want to try and squeeze in 2 short ones, or?
Let me do this song here. This is a really cool song, and I was out in California, and I did some shows with Steve Mann and Will Scarlett. And are you familiar with Will Scarlett?
No.
Will Scarlett did some stuff on the early recordings with David Bromberg, and was on the first Hot Tuna albums, playing harmonica. And Steve Mann was, people thought he had died, and but he
Rumors of his death were exaggerated.
right, but he kind of just laid low for quite some time, and but he's recently back on the scene. But he did these recordings with Janis Joplin, and this is one of those tunes from it. And I first heard this from Ian Buchanan on, I think it was Blues Unlimited album. It was a compilation album that came out. So this is kind of a take on his version of Whining Boy Blues. Whining boy, I don't deny my name. Said I'm the whining boy, I don't deny my name, deny my name. Whining boy, I don't deny my name. Can pick it up and shake it like sweet staving chain. Whining boy, I don't deny my name. Sister, sister, dirty little Sal. Sister, sister, she's a dirty little Sal, little Sal. Sister, sister, dirty little Sal. She wants to be a bad girl, but she just don't know how. Whining boy, I don't deny my name. Mama, mama, take a look at sis. Mama, mama, take a look at sis. Look at sis. Mama, mama, take a look at sis. She's out there on the levee doing that double twist. Whining boy, I don't deny my name. Well, spider, spider, climbing up that wall. Crying spider, spider, climbing up that wall, up that wall. Spider, spider, climbing up that wall. I'm gonna get to the top and have my ashes hauled. Whining boy, I don't deny my name.
You have any insight into who was the original author of that song, or who laid original claim to it?
Yeah, Jelly Roll Morton. That's where I understand it came from.
Yeah, I heard a lot of versions of that. but-
Yeah, and there's a lot of lyrics I left out.
Well, we just have less than a minute to go, so why don't you pick a tune and
Sure. Well,
blast
let's,
away on it. Want
why
to
don't
thank you
do-
very much.
Well, thank you again. I sure do appreciate it. How about we try, let's do another one together. Let's do, it's an old tune, Come On Over to My House. With a little Blind Boy Fuller thrown in.
Right.
Come on over to my house, baby. There ain't nobody here but me. Come on over to my house. Ain't nobody here but me. Well, God made women, made them kind of funny. Lips, ruby red.